Thanks for watching our Tundra video series. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to install two different types of LED reverse lights on our 2010 Toyota Tundra. First, I'm going to show you how to do LED bulb replacements, and second, we're going to install some high power LED reverse lights in the bumper. On the Tundra, there's two ways to do LED reverse lights. The first and easiest is just installing some high power LED bulbs. And the only tool you need to do that is a T30 Torx bit. However, we're also going to show you how to mount some external LED lights on the bumper, and to do that you need all these tools. You need a tape measure so that you position the light in the right spot on the bumper. You need a wire stripper and a wire cutter to help connect it to the factory reverse light wiring. You need electrical tape to finish your connections. You need a 14mm socket to mount the LED module, and you need a 5/16 inch and a 7/32 inch drill bit to put the holes in the bumper to mount your new reverse light. Last but not least, you need a drill and a soldering iron. So first we're going to do the LED bulbs, and the Tundra uses what's called a 921 style light bulb. It's a regular incandescent bulb, and it looks like an oversized 194 or 168 type bulb. It's just a mini wedge. We're going to pull it out and install the new LED bulbs. So all we got to do is open up the bed and use our T30 Torx bit, and there's one Torx screw here and one Torx screw there. Pull them out, and the whole tail light assembly is going to be removed with it. Now that the bolts are loose, we can gently pull the headlight forward. Don't push it that way too far, otherwise you could break the retaining clips that hold it in place. Okay, now unhook the three sockets. And set the taillight on a safe surface so we can install the bulbs. Now that I've got all the wiring exposed, I've got the stock bulb in and I turned on the reverse lights. The way I did that was I applied the parking brake and I turned on the ignition and I slid the shifter into reverse. Now that I know it's on, I can remove the bulb, careful it's hot, and start to install the new bulbs. What we're using for this install is, in my opinion, the brightest 921 or 194 style LED bulb available on the market. This is the GTR Lighting TW6 series 921 bulb, part number 701-0221. You can find these on our website or check the links in the description of this video for a direct link to purchase this product. Now, most LED bulbs are polarity specific, which means they're only going to go in one way. So I plug it in, I got it. You can see how bright it is and the color it is, but a lot of times you're going to plug it in the wrong way and it's not going to do anything. If that's what happens to you, simply unplug it, flip it around, and you're done. Now let's reinstall this into the taillight housing and place it back into the truck. Now Now this tail light is an aftermarket LED tail light, so this bulb and this bulb are replaced by full LED circuit boards. That's why when I pulled it out to take the tail light out, it looked different than the reverse light. But this installation is good for a factory tail light or an aftermarket tail light. When you're ready to reinstall the tail light, match up these two metal pins with the two holes with plastic grommets here and here. And then, when you get that in place, your metal clips on the other side, here and here, will match up with the screw holes here and here. So be very careful not to scratch the paint, and line up one of them. And the other one should be pretty easy to get back in. Push it so that it seats correctly. And then on this side, make sure that your screw holes line up for the different Torx bit screws. Once you reinstall the Torx bit screws, the LED reverse light bulb install is finished. Bulbs installed, we're also going to add an extra punch to the reverse by adding the 9-watt LED projector lights from GTR Lighting. These lights are going to be flush mounted right onto the back bumper and triggered by the reverse lights. These come in pairs. They have an IP67 waterproof rating. They only draw 0.67 amps of current. Each one is a 9-watt LED, creating approximately 600 lumens of light. The color is about 6000 K, and the beam pattern is 120 degrees. So this is going to be a great product for the rear bumper. And the way we're going to install them is flush mount. Now you see it comes with a bracket, but we're going to remove the bracket and not even use it. Instead, we're going to use the supplied mounting studs and drill a hole in the rear bumper to fit it in place. To install the lights on the rear bumper, the first thing we've got to do is decide where to put them and make sure that it's exactly the same on both sides. Because everything's curved, it's going to be kind of tough to find a sharp edge to measure from. So what I'm going to choose to do, center to center of the rear backup sensors. Now if you don't have the sensors, you're going to have to do a lot more measuring than what we're going to have to do this time. So just use a regular old tape measure. And I'm going to put it on the center of this one so that the corner of my measuring tape is exactly in the center. And then the center of this one, it's about 17 inches. So as long as I make sure that the mark is on the same spot of each of these sensors, I should be able to get a pretty good mark that's going to be even on both sides. So 17 divided by 2 is 8.5. So I'm going to put a mark right there. So to give you a better idea of how this is going to work, I've got the stud attached to the back of the module, and I'm going to drill a 5/16 inch hole right where I put my mark. The stud will go through that hole, and then we'll drill a second hole for the wiring, which will be 7/32 inch. You can see how this is going to fit, but still need to drill a hole for the wiring. So what I would recommend is you decide how you want it to be in there. Well, I would probably figure out where the screw holes are for the original bracket and make sure those are level. And then go back here behind it and mark a spot for your wiring. Now all that we have to do is feed the wiring through the small hole. And when it gets close, feed the stud through the big hole. So we have that mostly installed. All that's left is to secure it and run the wiring. So this is what it looks like going through the bumper. And it's real simple. You just take the supplied 14mm nut, put it on there, and get all the way as snug as you can with a socket and ratchet from the back side of that one until it's secure. Now that the projector is mounted in the bumper with the wiring through and the stud and nut secured, we have to run the wiring up through the bottom of the truck to the opening at the taillights. Now we've already got this out from showing you how to do the LED bulb install, and basically for the Tundra it's very simple. On the reverse light you have a red wire and a black wire. On the new LED module that we installed on the bumper, there's a red wire and the black wire. So pull your new wiring up, secure it in place, connect red to red and black to black. So if you look down here through the hole in the bumper, you can kind of see how this is going to work. You just feed the wiring up and then connect your red to red and black to black. Now this is where your wire cutters and wire strippers come into place. This is a lot of extra wiring that we just don't need. So make sure it's tight so you don't have any slack anywhere. Loosen it up just a little bit so you can route it how you want away from moving parts on the truck, and then cut it so that it's closer to your reverse wires. The last thing you want is a whole bunch of extra wiring here. Use your wire strippers to expose the wires. Use the wire strippers again to expose the metal in the wire. And then use the wire strippers on the factory reverse light wiring to expose the metal there. Once you have everything stripped, just twist them together. Red goes to red, black goes to black, and then we solder the connections. So use your soldering iron. Be very careful. It's very hot. Solder all your connections. After you're done soldering, make sure to tape up your connections so that they are as waterproof as possible and so that they don't touch each other. If you touch these two wires together, the bare wires, they will short out and pop the reverse light fuse, which is a headache you don't want to have to deal with. So just make sure you do this the right way. Now the last thing you want to do for safety's sake is make sure that the wire you just installed isn't touching the hydraulic strut or the latch mechanism for the tailgate. Because when this goes up and down, this lever in here moves, and the last thing you want is to get your new wiring caught up in it. So I'm going to pull the slack all the way toward the factory wiring and use a zip tie to secure it to the factory wiring and put it down really, really low as to keep the new wiring in place where we want it. Trim the zip tie. And then test your tailgate up and down to see if it binds on the new wire you just installed. So now that we have one side done, it's really important to duplicate the other side. What I'm going to do is make my mark. First take my measurement, about 17 inches. So I'm going to go 8.5. And before I drill that hole, I'm going to make sure to do several different measurements and make sure it's as close as possible to the original one I did. You don't want that one to be in one spot and this one to be in the other. So mark once or twice, measure 4 times, drill once. We repeated the passenger side install just like the driver's side, and now we have a completed project. We have the GTR Lighting TW6 style LED bulbs in the tail light housings to replace the factory reverse light bulbs, and then we added the 9-watt GTR Lighting projector LED lights on the bumper to get even more light for safety while backing up. Well, this install is finished. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to get these same LED reverse lights on your Tundra, check the links in the description of this video or visit us online at www.headlightrevolution.com. If you like what we're doing and you want to see the next video that we make for the Tundra series, click the subscribe button so you can see what's next.